Hi, good morning guys, thanks for joining me. Not down at the typical woodland where I usually am today, just travelled out just a little bit further away from home, and this woodland where I am at the moment is quite a large woodland. So with that being said, what I thought to do, just travel a little bit lighter than usual. I want to get a few miles under my belt and just explore this wood, probably just looking for somewhere just to build a summer camp. So what I thought to do today is to show you a little stove which I'm going to be carrying and using, and that's this, the Esbit Star Stove. If you had to guess, I'd probably say I've been using these kind of stoves on and off now for around about 10 years. And I was fortunate a few years ago that I picked up a dozen for around about £8. So very, very cheap. And if you look on Amazon nowadays, you can still pick them up for around about 99 pence each. Galvanised steel, 20 grams in weight. So if it is that you're looking for something very lightweight, maybe into lightweight backpacking, that kind of thing, or maybe into stealth camping, you just want to keep the footprint down, you don't want to create smoke, or perhaps you can't have an open fire, then these kind of things are going to be perfect. I'm not 100% sure, but I've actually seen things similar to this in the French and Dutch MRE kits. Maybe that was the original purpose for them, designed for the military use. And the idea is that you actually fold one set of these little tabs down and the other little set of tabs up. And that's going to create a set of legs, and the other one's going to create just a little windshield for us. So what I've actually done there, I've just folded up the smaller sections, which are going to be the trivets, which you can either put the pot on or you can actually put the mug on. And then the longer ones we're going to use for the legs. Now what you can actually do is use this either way, dependent of the kind of ground or the kind of pot, or the size of the pot or the size of the mug that you're going to use. But today this should be sufficient. We're just going to use the pot just on top of this. These also act as just as a little windshield. And then, like I mentioned, just a little pressed out part there is where the fuel tab's going to go. Just taking a quick look at the box here, and what it's saying that one of these blocks should boil half a litre of water in 7 minutes. Now the mug that I'm using is only around about 450 ml. The air temperature is quite warm, so I'm expecting it to take less time than that. So just taking a quick look at the watch there, and that actually took 13 minutes, so both Esbit and myself were wrong on the time. Now that being said, it is quite breezy out here at the moment, the air temperature is quite warm, but I think what was happening is that the wind was actually blowing the flame away from the mug. If I'd actually put a lid on top, and a windshield around the stove there, perhaps would have got that time down. Now the water itself is something that actually they've brought from home, so I wasn't actually that bothered about purifying it. But if it is that you're finding your local water sources from puddles, lakes, rivers and the likes, you've got to make sure that you get a proper rolling boil. So that being said, that's one thing I would perhaps do, is make sure that there's a windshield there, or minimum at least a lid on top of the mug. And that's more like it. That only took around about 4 minutes. I suppose something to do with the fact that the lid was on it and I just got the stove just out of the wind, compared to what it was when I got the mug on top. So just sharing about these Star stoves, very lightweight and perfect for this kind of thing. With the Esbit blocks, I actually took 2 blocks, one for the cup of tea and one for the meal. And these ones are the 14 gram blocks, and I think you get 6 in one of these packets, so obviously that's going to do you for 3 meals. So once everything's cooled down now, the stove's nice and cool to the touch. All that's left on it is a waxy residue just off the fuel block, and then you could decide what you wanted to do with it. You could actually fold it back down and just store it just in a little pocket in your rucksack, or they'd actually fit in a shirt pocket if that's the way that you wanted to carry them. Or what was suggested to myself, one of the first videos which I actually did was actually just keep it as it is. That way then it's going to last a lot longer. You can actually just put it inside a mug, or if it'll fit inside your mess tin or your pot, you just actually just keep it in your pot, and it's there for next time. Well guys, that's it for this one. Just a quickie on the Star Stove. I thought it may be some interest to some of you out there. I'm nice and replenished now. So I'm just going to spend the afternoon just exploring these woods until it goes dark. So like always, I just leave me to say thanks a lot for you stopping by and watching the video. Until next time, you take care, and I'll see you again.